Hello and welcome to Tabletop Odyssey. My name is Jay, and FFG have announced the Star Wars Clone Wars factions, and we've seen what's in the box. We've seen some of the miniatures and stuff like that. They announced this at Adepticon, but now some articles have dropped, and we've actually got a first glimpse at some of the cards, some of the point costs, etc, etc. Now, before I carry on with that, if you like the video, do press like. If you've not already subscribed, please do that, as it really does help. It's one of these days. Oh, it's an exciting day. I was excited just to have a release date, probably September Q3, they say, for Clone Wars. I was happy to see the miniatures, but now 3 articles have dropped on the website, and we get our first glimpses of what the units actually are. So they've got the card upgrade pack, which we spoke about a little bit on the other video, but it's essentially, it's literally just a pack of upgrades. So if you are a new player and you buy the new starter set, you don't want to have to wait for all the upgrades. You can buy that if there's something you really want. Or you're maybe somebody who plays the original factions, but you don't want to buy all the new units and that kind of thing. You buy the upgrade pack. We'll have a quick look at what's in there, because there's some interesting things. Aggressive tactics we've not really seen. It's only going to be, it's $10, so what's that? Probably going to be like £7, so it's not going to be very expensive. I wish and hope that they do this as like a regular thing. Force guidance there, so there's some new cards, and you can see the names here. So aggressive tactics, I think, is that one. The electro binoculars, I think, is part of that's on the droid spoiler that we're going to have a look at. But yeah, it's got all the cards you could want there. There is some new stuff there, which off the top of my head I'm not actually seeing, but there is some new stuff there apparently. But you know, we're not here for the upgrade cards. So we've got this generic article which we'll look at first before we look at the actual like upgrades and stuff like that. It's $100. It's probably going to be like £70 in the UK, and $10 more than the original, but I think the quality and the content is probably a lot more in this one. So some extra pictures, but we'd seen these on the previous stream, but we've got a bit of a close-up here. These are the droidicas, which you can have 2 different forms. I thought there was 4 miniatures, but I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. I think that probably needs a little bit like clarifying, but you'll be able to either have open or closed. Whether or not you can have 2 open and 2 closed, I'm not 100% sure about that. The phase 1 clone troopers, these are here. They're going to have they've got this, is it the Bark? Somebody give me the official name of this. Yes, the Bark Speeder, BARC, all looking pretty damn sweet. We've got our Lord General Grievous. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi there, looking pretty good. I wonder if how much you'll be able to pose him a little bit. He's looking very sophisticated with his point and his saber like that. There you can see him pointing to Grievous. There's Grievous himself with all of his weapons, all of his arms. He's got 4 blades there, but in this picture, does he only have 2? Am I going crazy? Maybe there's different posable options. Well, we're going to have sprues, so we sort of already know that's the case. And then new pictures for the generic command cards, but we can also see some of the leaders here. Supreme Commander, General Kenobi, but hello there is the classic one. I'm very happy to see that as the 1 pip. And here it just confirms to me that you get everything that you need for the normal game. I'm not 100% sure what this new token is, but there's one new token where it's literally you get a surge. It's a surge token. I think that might be that one, considering it looks like the surge icon, which basically lets you change 1 surge to either a hit or a crit or whatever it is. And the interesting thing is that there's a suppression 3 token, which is quite interesting. But more importantly for me, it's the command cards, the objectives and all that kind of stuff, objectives, conditions, all that kind of stuff. They look to be the same as they ever were. So we're going to have the same ones that come in the original set. Hopefully they'll include the extra one that comes from the objectives, but they might not, they might do. I sort of hope that they throw it in there if they can, because it's only like 4 cards at the end of the day. And again, not really why we're here. So let's have a look at the actual cards and let's crack on with this, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about it. I've already been jabbering for 4 minutes. So the phase 1 clone trooper, well, let's have a look at this card. So the Z6 looks to be the same as the Z6 from the Rebels. That makes sense. The Rebel one is essentially this weapon, just like done in a different style, or just sort of like repurposed, I guess is the phrase. Now these are 52 points. If you can't see on the screen, I can read a little bit better, and we've checked it with one of the developers in the Discord. But these are 52 points. Fire support we'll come back to in a minute. red defense dice and black offensive dice. These are the best core troopers so far, and also the most expensive core troopers so far. I'm pretty sure it's 52. That would go along with 13 points for an extra guy, I believe. Yeah, you've got red defense dice. You don't have any surges, but you've got red defense dice and you've got black offensive dice. These guys are very competent, very potent, very strong, and you can throw in a Z6 if you want to. The points makes up for that. And now that fire support is basically if you have a face-up order token and somebody else is making a shot within range, you can just add your dice to that shot, but then you flip your token as well. So you can basically sacrifice an activation for more power in one shot. So if you really need to kill somebody before they activate or something, you can do that with fire support, which is a very, very, very interesting ability. Now, I'm not sure what that token is. I don't know. If anybody does know, let me know in the comments below. The other weapon there, is a range 1 to 4 weapon, and it's got that critical 1, so you can change one of your, I think it's you change one of your surges to a crit. It sort of looks essentially going to be a replacement, not replacement, but it looks like a little bit like a DLT. It could be 3, it could be 2 red and a white, something like that. We'll have to wait and see, but all in all, very interesting. Also, a new kind of grenade, the smoke grenade. I'm not 100% sure what that word says, so it just says smoke. I don't know what that's going to do, but there it is for 52 points. Obviously they're going to have a new token that's going to look different as well, but 52 points. The clone troopers are very, very, very interesting. It's weird because that red defense dice means you're going to survive half your hits without the surge. It's very good. I like it. It puts them right in between like the rebels and the Imperials in terms of defensiveness, and for the offensiveness they're better than the stormtrooper. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Basically they've got I just realized they've essentially got the defensiveness of the stormtrooper with the offensiveness of the rebel trooper, because the rebel trooper doesn't have an offensive surge and the stormtrooper doesn't have a defensive surge. So that's interesting. That's interesting, and the points, make up for that. So yeah, very interesting. The models, to be fair, also look cool. I'm a little bit tired personally of painting white and black, but and I'm probably going to have these, but there you have it. That's what they look like. Can't change the law kind of thing. These are the 3D renders. Now the droids, my personal favorite of all time, the droids. Yeah, these guys are just very interesting indeed. We expected them, I sort of expected them to have a white defense dice with no surge and a white shot with no surge, and that's what we've got. But the key thing here is that the normal troopers are 4 a unit, right? And then you take your upgrades, etc. These guys are 6, I was going to say 6 person to a unit, 6 models a unit by default. So, and they're 36 points. You might be like, what? But they have white defense dice with no surge, and they've got white offensive dice with no surge. But these guys are going to put out a lot of suppression, aren't they? If you've got a lot of them on the table, you could easily throw 6 of these in and then work on your more elite droids elsewhere. Really give you that horde feel. Yeah, so because in theory, you could just throw the extra guy in that, and what's that? 42 points. And then you throw in a heavy weapon who... you're going to have the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is going to depend if it's exhaustible. Going off the Imperial one, I would suggest maybe that's going to be exhaustible. To have an Impact 2 weapon that's not exhaustible in a core unit, maybe a little bit too strong, unless it's very expensive, in which case it could be useful. And then the other one, I don't know, it's looking maybe like 4 black dice, maybe 3 black dice. We'll have to wait and see. Again, it's all going to depend on costs. And then they've got these surge tokens. I'm not 100% sure how they get those surge tokens. Maybe they have to take it as an action, but it doesn't really make sense because they have an ability here on the card that says at attack. Oh, I've just realized it's slightly off the screen, to apologize. The at attack. Now that ability there, it says your first action must be attack if you're able to. Which is, I think, pretty interesting. So if you've got a face, I think if you've got, when you have a face-up order token, so if you're given an order, your first action has to be attack, which is cool, interesting. And they also coordinate droid trooper. Now, obviously, these are the only droid troopers we have so far, but this will distinguish between if we have alien races or if we have, when we do get more droid troopers, they'll be able to do this. And it coordinates literally, if they get given a token, they can give it to another droid trooper unit. I don't think they then subsequently change. At least I sort of hope not, because that would maybe be a little bit crazy. But yeah, they have that, and these guys for me are the most interesting unit. I don't think there's anything else we just see a 3D render. Yeah, these guys are, I think, the most interesting ones. In fact, they're both very interesting. We've got like these elite core troopers at 52 points, the most expensive core troopers, and now we've got the cheapest with lots of models core troopers with, you know, the worst dice, but the cheapest. And I like that sort of juxtaposition. We're going to have really elite and really feeble, whereas the rebels and the Imperials are going to be in the middle with defensive surge, offensive surges, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas these guys are just going to be on the opposite ends of that, and that is, to me, very exciting. I really like the models as well. Having the multiples possibilities are going to be very, very, very thrilling. Before I go, I'll just double check that there has been no news, but the Clone Wars have begun. I mean, when Yoda comes out, it would have been like, begun the Clone Wars have. I'll probably not do another Yoda impersonation ever again, because it wasn't that great. So, I mean, let me know your thoughts. That is some interesting, how to phrase it, it's some interesting design, I guess, and a design I'm particularly happy to see. The clone troopers are going to be these heavily regimented troopers, more effective than stormtroopers, but obviously more expensive. Stormtroopers are sort of like conscripted soldiers. These clone troopers have sort of been drilled from birth, so they're meant to be more the elite kind of trooper, led by Jedis. This, if you're looking for a small model army, may be the army for you. And I'd love to be able to, I really like to be able to say this, because at the minute the factions are neither, model count, neither here nor there, gameplay slightly different, bit more defensive, bit more offensive. You know, meh is what I would say. But these guys, you can say, you're going to have your elite clone troopers with your Jedi, boom. And then on the droids, they're possibly going to be a little bit more versatile, because you're going to have like Grievous, and eventually you'll have probably Sith. But for now, you can make a Horde army of those if you want, or you could possibly take the minimum amount of those troopers and then go with droidicas and whatever else comes out. Well, I expect big chunky battle droids. I'm sure that will come out at some point as well. And yeah, so you can have that Horde. You can have a Horde. It's very hard for me to say, a Horde army, or you can have an elite army. And that to be able to say that in the game is something we've needed, and we can now confirm that it's coming. We're getting better model quality, and the design is really like playing into that as well with the droids and Grievous. So all in all, it's just such a great day. I could not have wished for more. And it says Q3, and my prediction for that is September, just after Gen Con. It's the slot that is open, so it's a slot that makes sense. And yeah, I am over the moon. Somebody said, I thought I'd be, I said on Twitter, I very nearly exploded in the light, and Andy was like, oh, only very nearly? I was like, I'm not normally the emotional kind of guy, but this is making me spring a leak from my visual socket. Oh, sorry, I mean my tear duct. I will shed a tear. Yeah, like, I'm just so excited. I actually could cry. Like, it's a little bit sad, but it just gets me giddy and fired up. I'm so happy about it. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about these two units in particular that we've actually seen the cards for? We're going to get articles that'll talk about the droidicas and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm thrilled to see it. I'm really, really happy to see this. I think it could not have gone better, really. There's not much more I would even wish for. I'm personally very happy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Have a most beautiful day, and goodbye. Bye, guys.